Morning, it's working. And welcome to today's session. Today is the 14th of May, and we are covering a topic which is called dopamine detox. Now, dopamine detox is a disclaimer. The disclaimer is there is nothing, as in the scientific world, there is nothing called which can detox dopamine. However, with controlled behavior, we can reduce dopamine, and that is what, and why we need to reduce dopamine. That is the discussion of our topic today. I had, in fact, Mind Vantage, we had discussed a book called How of Happiness. Then we had discussed a book called Who Are We Really, wherein we studied how to become happy, what helps us grow our personality. This one is a little different. Here we will find out why we procrastinate, what is the purpose of procrastination, why is that a lot of people spend a lot of time in the screen, on the mobile, on the TV, why people spend a lot of time in shifting from task to task, and why people spend a lot of time on social media. So estimated people spend, so 1/3 of our time goes in sleeping, right? 7 to 8 hours out of 24 hours. It is seen that 4 to 5 hours every day, many people, they spend time on social media, internet, on tasks which give them excitement, which bring excitement but not fulfillment. We will discuss all that. Now, 5 hours every day of social media, internet using, and 8 hours of sleep. So 13 hours out of 24 hours is spent in this, right? And we will discuss about that. But before that, expressing our gratitude towards Mother Universe, to the Supreme Power, and to anyone and everyone who contributes in making we who we are. Thank you. And before we start the session, we'll just relax our mind and body. Listen to the music. Take a deep breath. Relax your head. Your forehead, your eyes, muscles around your eyes, your cheeks, your nostrils, your lips, muscles around your jaws. Just check if there is any tension, any feeling on your face. Let the relaxation flow to your chest, to your hands, your fingers. Relax your stomach, your abdomen. Drop your waist. Sit straight, but drop your waist. No pressure on your waist. Relax your hips, your thighs, your knees. Your calf muscles and shin bone. Your ankles and heels. Top of your feet, the sole of your feet. Be aware of the touch that any part of your body has on the surface where you are sitting or standing or lying down. Be grounded. Focus at the back of your shoulders. And let the relaxation flow from the back of your shoulders to the top of your hips, relaxing the muscles around your spine. Be aware of your entire body. Entire body. See how you perceive this body. Just feel. You perceive it as a container. You perceive it as a part of your journey. Do you consider this as a part of the alliance between mind and soul? Take a deep breath once again. Be with yourself for a moment, listening to the music. And now gently open your eyes as I stop the music and stop sharing. Good morning. So we start with the topic of dopamine. So Deepak ji, Devashish, Momita, what is your idea about dopamine? Any thoughts about dopamine? We all know that dopamine is a very useful neurotransmitter. So first, just a thought. What does dopamine do? Any thoughts? Because before getting into this, I did not have a very clear idea about what dopamine is. But a link brought me to the study of dopamine and the dopamine detox, and that is how to stop procrastination. How to stop while counseling and speaking to a lot of children, their parents say that they spend a lot of time on screen, social media. So what is that leads them to this spending of time? So any thought? Deepak ji.
It increases excitement, and that is why we go on liking the social media, the screen. That is why screen time increases.
Very correct. Very correct. Very correct. Anyone else? Just a discussion, because there are not many of us here. Yes, Ashish.
Yeah, so Partha, I think there is a optimum level of dopamine required. It's a kind of a hormone, I would say, right, which is required in the brain cells, right, to balance our behavior. I mean, the causes of depression, the causes of anxiety is at times attributed to the lack of dopamine, which at times has to be supplemented, right? Whereas that is the neurological part or the physiological part of it. But basically, here it is talking about concentration and focus, or it is about how because of the various habits that the society is imposing because of social media, formation of the mobile phones or this or that, how it is allowing our brain or the mind to wander, right, instead of focus. Because Swami Vivekananda very clearly said that uh, the the highest level of achievement of human, or human achievement is basically through a concentrated and focused mind. The level of concentration has to improve. So probably dopamine plays a role in bringing about concentration. So this is what I can think about.
Okay,
Right?
okay. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. While I'm asking you this, and I also studied a little bit about dopamine, while it is not important, very important to study the scientific and the chemical, because we are not scientists. However, it is amazing of how a small, very, I will not say small, which did not form a part of curiosity amongst common people's mind. Now, common people are aware of what dopamine is, serotonin is. We are aware of what oxytocin is, right? Progesterone is. So it is amazing. However, thanks to the social media, thanks to the news, thanks to the studies that we have come to know of it. Good. Thank you, Deepak ji and Devashish. Yes, Momita, you were unmuting.
Yeah, I know whenever you are in love or you are liking somebody, even apart from the social media and everything, so your dopamine level is high.
Okay. 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 Good. Thank you. Thank you. So, dopamine is basically a neurotransmitter. Let me first tell you what is the difference between neurotransmitter and hormone. Although these words are used interchangeably. So if you see, neurotransmitters, the hormones are primarily produced in the endocrine glands, right? And neurotransmitters are the product of the nervous system. While hormones, they get dissolved in blood and they activate, or they are responsible for functioning of some of the organs. Neurotransmitters are more involved in creating mood, creating excitement, creating or inducing or increasing excitement, love, I should say, stress, right? So this is primarily the basic difference between neurotransmitter and hormone. And neurotransmitter, this dopamine is a neurotransmitter. What does dopamine neurotransmitter do? It works in the synaptic space, right? It works in the synaptic. So synapses are in our brain where there are neurons. So the neurons have a particular characteristics body. Now, there are multiple hundreds, billions of neurons. Now, between the neurons, the spaces are called synapses. Now, we can get into the technical details later on, maybe in another session. And neurotransmitters carry messages from one neuron to another, right? They carry from one neuron to another. Dopamine, which was earlier known as the pleasure chemical, right? So oxytocin, serotonin, oxytocin is secreted when touch or love or affection happens. Dopamine is not a pleasure chemical. It is something which induces something which is called reward motivation or motivational salience. So how does it happen? So when you think of doing something, say for example, you are planning to go for an IPL match and you visualize yourself in the IPL match and there is an outcome which is there, right? So dopamine actually signals the perceived prominence of an outcome. And this in turn propels the organism to move away or towards achieving that outcome. Say for example, so let me come to social media, straight dive into social media. There are 4 types of habits which are seen, which I will discuss later on. And this is a research done by a scientist called SEPA. So I'll come to that. Here, say for example, you wanted to see, you are expecting a mail from someone and you wanted to see whether that mail has come. When you think of watching that mail, what dopamine does is it propels the intent of going there by creating that excitement. Right? Again, I'm repeating.
I just want to ask one thing.
Yeah.
Say,
Yeah.
if I think about food, or say I have seen a picture of one of my favorite food items in social media.
Sorry.
I have seen a picture of any of my favorite foods in social media, say, or I heard the name, and immediately there is a craving for that food only, and I make sure that either I prepare it or I purchase it from some restaurant, or I'll go to that person who have posted that picture so that I can have a share of that. Is that
Correct.
also dopamine level?
Yes. So what happens is, so the moment you see that food, so let us imagine that you are seeing that food. So what happens? Just a minute. Yeah, okay. So what happens is, you see that food, you think of that outcome, immediately the dopamine signals the perceived desirability of that I desire it. And it gets secreted. Now, when it gets secreted, it excites you. Which in turn propels your behavior towards getting that. And the more you see it till the time it arrives, right? If it is 10 minutes late or 15 minutes late, what we do, we call up that person. We call up that person, right? We call up that person. And that is the function of dopamine. Dopamine is secreted in 2-3 places. One of them is in the midbrain. I mean, it is basically in the midbrain. So there is something called VTA, ventral tegmental area. It is secreted over there. The primary job of dopamine is to excite, and it's a very, very important neurotransmitter in the brain. It's very, very important. In fact, it has been seen that dopamine is used extensively in the treatment of ADHD or Parkinson's disease, right? It is being used extensively. And there are researches which has shown that, which Devashish just now mentioned, that there is an optimum level of dopamine which is required. There's an optimum level of dopamine which is required. Now, what happens is, there are tricks which the brain plays, the dopamine plays on the brain, right? So when we think of, we are doing a job, in between we go to the mail and check the mail. Why do we check the mail? We check the mail because with fear that we are missing out something. It is called FOMO, fear of missing out. Or you are supposed to do something which is a normal, boring job, right? You find out a work which is more exciting. And you say to yourself, we can come back to work. So you can say, what goes on is your mind convinces that you can get back to work. Your mind convinces that you can do it later. Here, very, very important thing, what happens is, generally you will see, in cases where we shift our work or procrastinate regarding our work, after some time, we regret. There is a sense of regret which comes to us. We feel bad. Arey, we did not do this. There are two things which are happening here. There is something more exciting which you are doing, but that is, excitement is not fulfillment. There is a difference between excitement and fulfillment. And this excitement is created by dopamine. Every day, we are doing tasks which are creating excitement in us. Say, for example, it happens to me while I'm studying, suddenly I feel like I have not seen the mobile for about half an hour, 45 minutes. Let me go back to the mobile. And my brain says, it's okay, you see that because you might be missing out something, come back. The moment I get into the mobile, I find a mail which has come. Now, I had sent a mail to someone expecting the reply. I see entire mail, whether it's there or not. Dopamine is secreted because the outcome is perceived and the dopamine propels me towards the desirability. The moment dopamine is secreted and there is an excitement, I go into another mail, open it and see what is written there. Why did I open the mail? I opened the mail to see whether the reply has come. Now I check other mails. What is there? By the time I come back, there is already some time which has been spent on that. And imagine this time has been spent in rewarding your brain, in feeling excited because of the fear of missing out or thinking that I will do it later. What happened when you procrastinate? Let me do this. Now that job, which is more exciting than this, your job, the moment you get into that, dopamine is secreted. Average time in a school of 500 students, every day, 4 hours is spent on this overstimulation. So stimulation, dopamine helps you in stimulation, which is very necessary in life. However, overstimulation takes away you from the attention span. And that is why the attention span reduces. 2,000 hours in a day into 24, if I say 24, right, or 22, just imagine 2,000 into 22, 44,000 hours is being spent by 500 children in a month. That into the year, it's 6 lakhs hours. Now 6 lakhs hours divided by 24, you can imagine how many days are wasted. Earlier it was there. Now it is more coming into prominence. So there is a research, I will share this research work also. And there has been challenges on this work. And as I told you, this discussion is not regarding dopamine, although this topic is dopamine detox. It is, they cannot detox, but you can regulate. You can regulate just like your emotions. So when Mr. Sepa, when he was looking into it, he saw that there are certain habits which create this. I will just share with you what those are.
Partha, I need to leave because I have to.
Yes, please.
go
You have
to
to travel.
airport.
Yes. So the first one, with Momita said, emotional eating. The second one is excessive internet usage and gaming. You will see people who are gaming. I have seen in the office also, right? A lot of people, they, play even during the office hours for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, go back to work. There are word puzzles. People are addicted to word puzzles. Now, is it bad? It is not bad. What is bad is the excessive use of it. Gambling and shopping. You will see a lot of people doing shopping, right? We will sit in office and we will see that people ordering for things. They're unaware that there is overstimulation of things. I know people who, if they do not have anything in transit, they are not expecting anything from Amazon or Flipkart or Myntra or Nykaa or whatever. They do not have that excitement. They order it and they wait for it, when will it come, and they check the order trap. Is that thing necessary? It might not be necessary. And that is where the dopamine is at work. Porn. Yes.
So, sorry to interrupt. I'm addicted to word puzzles. Okay. So what happens is, suppose I'm sitting idle. I solve one level. Okay. Then I go to the another level. And if I can't solve it, I solve it later. So how does it, like, how the dopamine works here?
So when,
that stimulus or that, to solve it, to solve the puzzle, it's what helps me in,
So there's a reward, right? How do you feel when you solve a puzzle? You feel good?
Yes.
You feel good, and there are rewards which comes in for that. And then you check that reward and then you move into the next puzzle.
Yes.
So what
and when I can't solve it, it happened like I couldn't, solve it for 1, 2. I was stuck in one level. I couldn't solve it for 2, 3 days. When I did it, it was such an easy word. I felt happy.
The moment you feel happy, it is because of the reward that your brain gets in solving it in dopamine. See, what I'm saying is, use of what puzzle is not bad, right? Now, dopamine, why do you play what puzzle or any game? Or why do we look into social media? Why do we look into how many likes we have received? It is all because of the perceived reward that we think of. Now, are we getting a trophy? We are not getting a trophy, but it's a mental trophy that we get. And the moment
interested in rewards and all that.
That's okay. You are unawarely, unawarely I am. It is unaware. We think we are not, but if you be aware from the what puzzle, you can be. If you are not overstimulated, if you have that control, you can be. But there is a reward in what puzzle. There is a reward in everything, and it is good. To have rewards is very good. Say, for example, someone is cooking. It's a reward, which is good. What I'm saying about is the time wasters, which happens because of the overstimulation of the brain, which might be created due to overusage of that particular app or something. That is what I'm saying. So there is a reward system which is there, and it's okay. Otherwise, we would not have been living. It's a coping strategy also, na? Because what you said is during idle hours, you were doing it. It's a coping strategy. Spend my time, which is okay, probably.
Okay, and I have another question. Like Devashish says, if there's an optimum level for this release of dopamine, or
Yeah.
what is that?
Optimal.
How do we, know this is the highest level?
No, we will not know. I mean, we cannot measure it, but we can be aware of it, whether we are wasting. So how will you know? Are you wasting time on too many things that you are having? Excess dopamine can create addiction also. Except overstimulation can create addiction, or addiction, the reward that people get to be away from fear, to be away from pain. We can discuss addiction on another day, because addiction is nothing but relation, right? Addiction is nothing but relation. So this relation gives a reward. So dopamine. So if that is overstimulated, then it is bad. And there is an optimal level which is required for our satisfaction. So that is what Devashish meant. Say, for example, we all need love and affection, right? Now, why do people, when they are sent in prison, I will tell you about another practice which is helping mankind and how to get rid of this overstimulation. We'll come to that. So when people are set aside in prison, they do not have anything to do. They become crazy, right? But they do something. They definitely do something to have that optimal level of dopamine. They either move away, they talk to someone, they do something, they take something and scratch and do a puzzle over there on the wall or on the ground. That is all because of the reward system. However, how will you know? We cannot measure, but we have to see the time wasters. We will see whether we are procrastinating or not. We are see whether we are over addicted to something or not. Right? So that is there. So I will just share this. So there are 6 things which he had actually discovered or found out. One is emotional eating. Second is excessive internet usage. Third is gambling. Fourth is porn. Fifth is thrill and novelty seeking, adventures, too many adventures, right? And it is okay. Again, I'm saying it's okay, but overstimulating dopamine can create imbalance in the body. And recreational drugs. Okay, now what Sepa said was not proved, and science actually challenged him. He said that we can fast from these triggers. How can we fast? So fasting, and science said no, we cannot fast. Dopamine has to be there. Dopamine will be there. Dopamine is required as a reward system, and it is there. However, it is not a pleasure chemical. This actually, as I told you, this creates a motivational salience, which means that if the outcome creates dopamine, and dopamine propels us towards getting into that. So his name is Dr. Cameron Sepa, in case you are interested in studying this. Right, and there's a book called Dopamine Detox, and this is just a reading of the book which I am doing, but in a form of a session. So that is what. Any questions till now? Any questions? Okay. So also neurotransmitter is called the neurotransmitter of dopamine. And to answer Kakuli madam's question is, how do we measure dopamine when we cannot stop doing something? When dopamine is hijacking your brains. So internet, we use internet for finding out something, but reverse is internet is using us. Now I'll give you an example. Have you seen notifications coming on your mobile? Have you seen notifications? Say for you search for a book in Amazon, immediately they give you notifications that who purchased these books also along with this. And they will give you a small outline of the book, which is almost similar. Now try this out. They are almost similar to the outcome of the book which you are buying. So what happens? You want to study about dopamine. There is a book. And there is another book which says it gives you more information on dopamine. What happens to you? You click on that book. When you click on that book, you go to about the book. When you go to about the book, you study more. The moment you do it, there is another notification which has reached there. People who read this book also buys this book. So Amazon's book recommendations, YouTube's video recommendations are all subjected to certain algorithms. And these algorithms are done after research, which creates help in, driving us towards purchasing them. And that is the dopamine effect.
I think for the advertisement plays very crucial role.
Very crucial role.
Very crucial.
Very crucial role. You know something, Deepakji? Steve Jobs did not allow his children to use mobile phones and tablets till a certain age. And imagine his company is selling the most handsets. So these are some of the things.
Yeah, so there is a rule in Harvard University. So I'll
Yes.
share with you guys. Actually, it is in Bengali. Exactly on this topic by Sarvapriyanandaji. Right?
Okay.
It's an excellent subject on this same thing. So he was talking about Harvard University, where every researcher, right? They do a time boxing. That means for this many minutes when they do the research, like 2-3 hours, there is no access to internet. There is no access to anything, right? Of what we are talking about, nothing. They will have to, because they found direct relationship with their concentration on the research outcome with the social media and the other tools that we got used to today. So they do it consciously and they switch off the wireless connection in Harvard University for 2-4 hours, okay, consciously. So now, if we come to the means of coming out of this part, so it's very important that I also at times am to avoid the vagaries of the world, I would rather do a gaming, like Kakuli ma'am is saying, and I start playing the game, and slowly it becomes a habit. When I should not be playing the game, I start playing it. Right? Why? Because I want to detach myself from the other world. That's the other aspect. Rather than not getting a reward, not getting pleasure. But fact is, so I treat it as a way of concentrating my mind. But actually, I'm getting hooked onto something which I'm not supposed to do continuously. Right? So we have to have a solution to this. So I hope you're coming to the solution. What is Stepa talking about? We know it so well. In today's world, we can see our children getting addicted, hooked up. Okay, there is conversation every day at home that why the hell, why can't you stay away from it and all that stuff. And they're not realizing, they are born in this age. And since we are not born in this age, we know the, benefits, demerits, merits, but they know only the merits of this. Okay, getting a reward, getting a thumbs up and all this. Yeah.
Yes, and Devashish, what you said just now, let us link it to what we learned, I think, from Devashish's experience. So there's an excitement in playing the game. He's getting a reward by moving away from the disturbances of life.
Yeah.
After that, he's now saying, now listen to his words, that he's also playing when it need not be played. So there is a regret. There is a regret attached to it. And why is that regret? What is that regret attached to? That regret is attached to the excitement which was created. Because this regret is the absence of is because of the absence of fulfillment, which he's saying that I could have done something. When I should not do it, I'm doing it because I'm hooked onto it. Look at the words. These are all subconscious, and this is what is in the research. And Devashish, I'll come to you. Very interesting. Sure. How do we go? There are 3-step process. The first is identify the biggest distraction. Say for you, it's the gaming. So you have identified the biggest distraction is gaming. Okay. First, ask yourself, do you have the resources? Are you capable of avoiding this distraction? Second.
No, Partha, I would like you to first define the word distraction. What do you mean by distraction?
Okay.
Then only I can identify it, right?
Yeah. So what do you mean by distraction? So when you say that when you are not supposed to do a work, why you just said that you are not supposed to do a work and you are playing the game, what exactly happens?
So there is a normal rhythm of life, right? So anything that I do outside the normal rhythm of life, which means I eat, I sleep, I breathe, I, socialize, okay, I do so many, and we are habituated to certain, real thing. I mean, let's imagine that there was no mobile phones, okay. So I used to play a crossword game on the newspaper, right? And addiction cannot happen on a single crossword on a newspaper. But here what I do is I'm browsing and finding, word puzzles after puzzles, right? So easily. So my biggest enemy, probably distraction, is the internet. Making all these means available on the click of a button.
Very good.
So that's my distraction.
Now imagine in the newspaper, instead of one puzzle, you had 10 puzzles. What would you have done?
I would do by selective processing that which is easier to me and which is good for me. I mean, I think it fulfills my heart. So I played for half an hour, left the newspaper. That's the end of the puzzle game.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Then I decided to buy a crossword book, let us say. Okay, book of crosswords. I found it in the airport. I bought it. And then I got slowly addicted that, I can do 3 passwords, 5 passwords, and so I spent 2 hours and I realized, oh my God, I had so many things left to do and I kept on doing this. So
absolutely.
That is where I'm taking away the time.
That is distraction.
That's how I identify the distraction. Correct.
Absolutely. So that is distraction. So the moment you do it, there is a process which he has suggested, and that's called add friction. Add friction. Redesign your environment. Because remember, fundamentally, people are lazy. Brain takes the easiest way of doing a job, right? Easiest way. Say, for example, if I just draw dots like this, brain will think, "Arey, ye to straight line hai." They will not even think that it is, you can do, lines like this. It will just take, it's the simplest. So, second is add friction. Friction, SEPA says, and researchers says, which he has done, add doors and windows and walls between your habit and the matter of addiction. Say, switch off the mobile, keep it in the locker, which you just now said, that in Harvard, they take this mobiles, switch away the Wi-Fi. Right? If someone has to look into the mobile, what he has to do? He has to walk out, go into a Wi-Fi zone, switch on the mobile, then see. It's too much of a job. In the meantime, he will spend half an hour, the research work will go away. But if he has the mobile and the Wi-Fi is on, he will always think, let me look at it for 2 minutes, I will come back. Now, once you add the friction, your mind will say, I will not do it, or rather, it's difficult for me to do it. There will be a lot of time spent in the morning. Researchers again say, if you add friction, the usage of that particular thing reduces by 30 to 40% just by adding the friction. This 30 to 40% then becomes a habit which moves into higher. Third point is start in the morning. Our addiction, our movement starts in the morning. How we do it. Ask most of the people how they start their morning. Now, I have done this. I have done it with 5-6 people before this session was planned. Most of them said, barring one, the moment I get up, I open my eyes, sit there, watch the mobile, what messages have come. Then I get into other job. Many times we spend about 15 to 20 minutes on the mobile, seeing what the messages have come, reply to it. The next question was what kind of messages they are. They are mostly greetings. Flower, tick mark, namaste, thumbs up, and said 15 to 20 minutes, then they start the day. The addiction has already started. So the third point is start in the morning by keeping your mobiles and look at the mobile only after 45 minutes to 1 hour. What would happen if you would have woken up after 1 hour? What would happen if you would have gone to sleep 1 hour before? You would not have seen it. Nowadays, the formula is waking hours is equal to dopamine hours. An average student spends 5 hours on the mobile, which means for him 150 hours. 150 hours, which means how many days you can know. So I think it's more than 6 days, right? 7 days. Every month, 1 week is wasted on, I'm using the word wasted, it can be challenged. I don't want to get into argument. Peace of mind is important than getting into arguments. So, but if you see 7 days we are wasting.
I want to say something that is like it's all in the mind. If you want, you can control yourself. Because I myself tried to, be away from WhatsApp for 3 days and I could do it.
Important, very important. Very nice. Very nice. Very good.
I will not open WhatsApp and I kept Wi-Fi mode off. It was only in mobile data and I could, it was so peaceful. But frankly speaking, I was like,
fulfilling.
No WhatsApp. I was
fulfilling, na?
Yes, absolutely. And I was very much. That's it. You have to have that willpower.
So, ma'am, actually, yeah, this is like, the same thing, like, let us say, quitting smoking. So, its addiction is as bad as that or this thing. So, question is first, as Partho said, that identify the distraction, right? So, we have to agree that it's a distraction. So, if you talk to the teenagers of today, they will not even, want to call it out as a distraction. Very difficult. So, suppose he identifies distraction. Next is that in your case, for instance, when you quit WhatsApp or you took pains to go out of WhatsApp for 3 days or 4 days, what alternatives did you give to supplement that time? That is also important, probably.
Read books, listen to songs.
Correct. So, absolutely. I noticed. Correct. I noticed that if I take a book and
it is very
read,
important for someone, they will call you up, right? So they will call you. So cool.
Absolutely. So that is why I'm saying that the first thing that I do in the morning is, of course, I open the mobile and I see we are live on 7:20 today, and then I close the WhatsApp and get ready for my course. So I think that is a good habit to have a 30 minutes, and so it defeats all my other distractions at that point of time. So we'll have to identify and then find a replacement which is good enough, which appeals to us. And third is that never to fall in similar trap with any other kind of distractions going forward, because we know that this is the point we are actually getting into a addiction level or whatever. So we have to come out of it.
Very
We are
correct.
all we are all
Yes, sir.
addicted somehow.
Yeah,
Everybody,
ekdam.
whatever the age may
True,
be.
true, true.
Yeah. Deepak ji is to traveling actually. Addicted to traveling. Deepak ji, that is, you have to detox traveling and come into our meetings more often.
Oh, sure. I'll try.
Deepak
Of
ji,
course, I'm doing. That is why I came back to in this. I prolonged my journey for 2 hours today. I find distraction.
Deepak
Yes,
ji,
yes.
Yes,
do
yes,
you
sir.
remember the discussion we had about 7 months back? That
Yeah,
can I share this? It is not
yeah,
very
sure,
personal.
sure, sure.
That you feel
No, no,
bored
no.
very fast.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I got it. I
Got
got
it?
it. Yes,
And then
got
we
it.
again discussed after 2-3 months, and you said that has come down now.
That has come down. That
And
has
if you
come down.
see how it changed,
Uh-huh.
if you see how it
Yeah,
changed, your classes
yeah,
increased,
yeah.
your traveling
Absolutely.
increased.
Increase. Definitely. I found some alternative, creative alternative, useful alternative.
Yes. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
what are the ways out? There are 3 ways again. So these are the steps, 3 ways: 48 hours detox, 24 hours detox, partial detox. And in India, we have a system which is called Vipassana. Vipassana is total fasting of dopamine, and that takes away a lot of our habits distraction, which Kakuli madam just now mentioned. 3 days she did not look at the WhatsApp. That is I will not say detox, because this word is challenged, but this is some way of controlling the overstimulation. So anyways, I think we are coming to the close.
Sorry, I use 1 day fast of the internet.
Acha,
Yeah.
internet
Probably
fasting.
internet fasting. Yeah.
Very,
Every week I use it. Every week I use
very good.
it.
Great.
And that helps me. Another thing, this mindfulness practice, do it deliberately. So it will be useful to get out of the internet addiction.
Yes.
Definitely it will be
Yes.
useful. Yeah.
In fact, now I am counseling a child, and there I started by understanding who you are. And she said her name, her address. When I asked her what capability you have, yeah, so that is I am capable of, make sentences. Then next day I asked her who you are. Her definition of I changed. Right? Identity changed. So if we are all capable, right? So I asked whether you are capable of changing, distracting, because we are all capable. No one will say no. Some people will say no where they need help, but we can all help each other. And with that, we will close the session today. Dopamine Detox, I will share the photo of the book. And I think instead of book reading, sharing the contents of a book and then getting into research papers and studying that gives more insight. One of the topics which Deepak Bhai has suggested is synaptic pruning. Second, Prarthana, she has mentioned some more topics. So I will be working on those, and we will be having these topics. I think they are more refreshing, and discussing it amongst each other makes a lot of help.
Sure.
Yeah, so Partho, one thing I wanted to just, when it comes to a detox discussion, right, of this kind, it is mostly leading us to, the ill effects of internet and social media today, right? But there are many more addictions that we tend to ignore, that we are getting into in many ways. For instance, in the case of teenagers, partying is an addiction, right?
Yes.
Going for a night party,
Yes.
right? So my question is, we have to see this subject in a very broad context, broader context, and internet is definitely one of the biggest evils, right? And social media, and going forward, with the artificial intelligence, it is causing more harm because, as you said, right, the it gets to know your behavior. It is the computer is trying to become smarter than you, and it is trying to guide you in taking certain decisions, and that is the elementary detox, right? I mean, you have bought a ticket for some destination, and then you start getting this thing, whose destination may, here is a Uber, here is the shopping place, here is what you can buy. So it is constantly keeping us on the run, right? So maybe a broader perspective,
Yes.
if you, when you do your further research, you may want to look at the broader perspective of it, that imagine that there was no internet. So what was it that we were getting in?
So there were there's 6 things, Devashish. One is emotional eating, binge buying,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Gambling, no casino, this Friends 11, rummy, porn, thrill, partying, thrill, novelty seeking, new ways of doing something, socializing and partying, and recreational drugs. Say I go to a party, I have some recreational drugs like, just for recreation, cocaine or hashish, hash or ganja or cigarette, right? Recreational drugs. So these are also, because they are some of the 6 which he researched and said that they are overstimulate a person.
Yeah, so my question was, Partha, that there could be many more things which can keep coming. You can eliminate one, the other one will come in, the vices, right? These are the vices, but they are all product of our consumerism,
Yes,
right?
yes,
The society,
absolutely.
consumerism, capitalism, and all that.
Yes.
How to get out of that? I mean, it is a question of desire and fulfillment. So how to cut down on the desires? So elementarily, I think we have to think at that level.
We can work on it. Yes, we can do
Yeah.
some work on it. Sure. Good point,
Thank you.
Devashish.
It should be a big moment now. It's a want of era now. It should be
Yeah,
movement.
Moment.
correct.
At least today, Partha, let me agree that I will now concentrate on my document level.
Hmm. Okay.
The use of this session today, 1 hour, I'll be aware of the dopamine level.
Thank you, Deepak Bhai. And why I chose this, although this is a very disputed topic, I chose this
Yeah,
because some portions are reality.
absolutely.
Right. And this is being discussed at Harvard Medical School also. So when it is discussed at Harvard Medical School, and when Devashish just now mentioned Sarvapriya Nandaji, he has talked about this. He's a guru, he's a great person, and I remember him. There is relevance to this. So thank you. Share the video if you want to with other people, with teenagers, young people, their parents. This might help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Om Shanti. Let this week be the happiest week.
Thank you. Bye. Good day.
Thank you.
Yes.